what is the current situation, right? Status quo. It is now we won't change anything. It's status quo is maintained. So why is this chapter called status? Why is this canto called status quo? What do we expect in this canto? There are there are two pastimes, but that's not the thing. The status quo means that Krishna is in charge of creation. Krishna is the source of creation, not in charge, he's the source of creation. And everything is maintained by Krishna. And ultimately, everything is happening by Krishna's will. And that is status quo. And that is always be status quo. No matter what we think, I can change it, I can do this, I can do that. The status quo is whatever the Lord desires. That will happen. So in this canto, a lot of this is proved, that how creation, how all these things are happening because Krishna desires them. So we must also remember in our life, status quo is what? Krishna's desire. Krishna desires something materially good in our life, it will happen. If Krishna doesn't desire, it will not happen. Is our desire relevant in this? No. Our desire is not at all. Whose desire is more important? Krishna's desire or our desire? So then what does it tell us about our desire? Our desire should get synced with what the Lord desires. The question will be, what does the Lord desire? So ultimately we know what the Lord desires. He wants all of us to come back to Him. So He wants us to perform devotional service. That's how we'll come back to Him. So therefore, we must understand that whatever situation in life, things come, things go, things change. This one question should be asked. Is my devotional service continuing? And if the answer is yes, then it's fine. And if the answer is no, then I need to figure out what's going wrong. In our life, this status quo should be maintained. Our engagement in Krishna's service should go on. So what is status quo? Whatever the Lord wants will happen. That is status quo. Okay, so this is the first thing about this canto. Now, this third canto has 33 chapters. How many chapters does Bhagavad Gita have? 18 chapters. So it's almost double of the Bhagavad Gita. 18 to the 36. This is 33. 33 chapters. How many chapters the second canto had? 10. Wow. 10. Very good. 10. First canto? 19. Very nice. So this is like first and second combined and little bit more. Third canto. So we started this just before COVID. It took us 5 years to do 2 cantos. Festivals come, so many things come, special speakers come. So it may take us 5 years to do the third canto. So if we are all around, then we will come to the last chapter of the third canto. Let's see. This third canto, so today we are just going to briefly do an overview so as to create maybe a little bit of inspiration in you to open the third canto and start reading it. And then from next week we will start chapter by chapter. This third canto has a few pastimes. It has, the third canto actually starts with Vidur. And Vidur has just been very in a very rough and a very mean and a very defaming way removed from Hastinapur. Because Vidur went to Dhritarashtra and he told Dhritarashtra that your son is actually a poison. And he told this in front of Duryodhan. वो पीछे जाके कान में वो anonymous letter लिख के ऐसे नहीं, directly. That's a sign of a Brahmana. A Brahmana will always speak the truth, and he or she will never be afraid of speaking the truth. He is the poison. He is spoiling everything, and you are illegitimately on the throne. Actually, this belongs to Yudhishthir. The day you were born blind, you were unfit to be the king. And it was Pandu, and now it should be Yudhishthir. You are just a caretaker. And Duryodhan was hearing. And then Duryodhan said, who wants to hear the opinion of this Dasi Putra? Do you know Vidur was the son of her name? You know the three names? Amba, Ambika, Ambalika. One of them was Vidur's mother. So he's saying कि दासी पुत्र का बेटा, how is he saying, who the hell has given him the right to speak? Just because we have maintained him, he has got so much audacity to speak like this. Like this, Duryodhan went on. And then Duryodhan said, he's lucky that if he doesn't stop talking now, I will just leave him with his life air. And so when he spoke like this in such a mean way, then Vidur, because ultimately for him his uh, self-esteem was far more important than the comfort of the kingdom. So he, what he, if you can see here, Bhagavatam describes, he kept his bow and arrow on the doorstep of the kingdom, of the palace, and he walked out. So this is how the third canto starts. And Vidur walked out. Now he walked out and he didn't go to plan with somebody else how to attack Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. He went to the forest. He went to the forest and there he met Uddhava. The Bhagavatam describes that Uddhava and Krishna looked the same. Uddhava looked just like Krishna. And what relationship did Uddhav share with Krishna? Friend. But they were mostly, the rasa was friendship, Sakhya, Sakhya Bhav. But Uddhav, unlike unlike Krishna's other friends, Uddhav had a friendly relationship with Krishna where he was in love with Krishna. He only wanted to be with Krishna, he only wanted to talk about Krishna, he only wanted to serve Krishna. That kind of a friendly relation he had with him. So when Vidur went and met Uddhav, and Vidur said, I now want to go to the next stage of my life. Enough of this, I served Hastinapur with all my life and soul. I never ever had any other intention except service to the king of Hastinapur. But now life has shown me its true colors. When he left, he didn't go and to Uddhav and said, मेरे साथ ऐसे क्यों हुआ? इतना मैंने सेवा किया हस्तिनापुर का, कुछ भी लिया नहीं और मेरे साथ ऐसे क्यों हुआ? No. He said, okay, if it has happened means Krishna has sanctioned it. And if Krishna has sanctioned it, what do I have to worry about? Like Prabhupada writes, no, not a blade of grass can move without the sanction of the Lord. Mataji, आप लोग थोड़ा आगे आ सकते हैं. Create some space at the back. So Vidur said, if this is happening, then it is the will of Krishna. So let it go on. And he came to Uddhav and he wanted to inquire from Uddhav. Actually, Vidur surrendered to Uddhav. And he said, now you please lead me to the next stage of my life. And you guide me. I want to surrender to you. Become my guru. What is that verse where Arjuna surrenders to Krishna? Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapanyam. So now this Uddhav is much younger to Vidur. And Vidur still surrenders to Uddhav. What does that tell us about Vidur? What does that in this relation where he surrenders to Uddhav, who's much younger to him? Humility, very good. It shows the humility of Vidur. It is very difficult to listen to somebody who's much younger. It's very difficult. So, but he's not seeing the age. He's seeing the content. He's seeing the spiritual quality of Uddhav. He's seeing Uddhav's relationship with Krishna. And he's seeing how Uddhav is madly in love with Krishna. He's only talking about Krishna. And he's saying, this is a fit person to surrender to. And I will take guidance from Uddhav. So then that is described in the second chapter. But Uddhav on his part, first tells Vidur about Krishna. He starts to immediately, after Vidur offered to surrender and you guide me, Uddhav did not answer. He just started talking about Krishna. And then he told Vidur about, he was telling about Krishna, telling him more about Krishna. And then finally, Uddhav told Vidur, I cannot accept you, I cannot guide you. Now, Uddhav is showing his humility. He said, I cannot guide you. And therefore, he sends Vidur to Maitreya, Maitreya Rishi. Please take guidance from me. We glorified Maitreya Rishi because he said, so many of the dealings I had with Krishna, Maitreya was present. So Maitreya knows everything. And you please go to Maitreya Muni and Maitreya Muni will guide you. So Vidur went to Maitreya Rishi, Maitreya Rishi, Maitreya Muni. And this dialogue between Maitreya and Vidur is the entire third canto and entire fourth canto. Entire two cantos are the dialogue between who? Vidur and Maitreya. So the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna is not the only dialogue. There are so many dialogues in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the one of the longest. There is a dialogue between Uddhav and Krishna also, which comes in the 11th canto. It's called Uddhav Geet. That is between Uddhav and Krishna. So this Parikshit Maharaj glorifies this dialogue between Maitreya and Vidur. And he says that this is the perfect dialogue to hear. And therefore he's inquiring. He's inquiring about these subject matters. The first verse of the third canto is Parikshit Maharaj asking Sukadeva Goswami, can you please tell me about Vidur? And now because he asked about Vidur, he was told about Uddhav, and then he was told about this dialogue between Maitreya and Vidur. And then Parikshit Maharaj says, it's the perfect dialogue because through Vidur's questions, we are getting an outlook of life and we are getting to know about life. And most importantly, he says, Vidur, that I am asking many questions, but my main point of interest is Krishna Katha. I want to know about Krishna. So Maitreya, because you were there when Vidur and Krishna used to interact, you tell me about Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita, third verse, Macchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta, second verse, Macchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. This is what pure devotees do, Krishna is saying. Macchitta, they are constantly thinking about me. Madgata Prana, their lives are devoted to me. Bodhayanta Parasparam, they are constantly preaching about me. Kathayantascha Mam Nityam, they are always hearing about me. Tushyanti cha, ramanti cha. In this way, they are deriving newer and newer happiness and pleasure by Krishna Katha. So Vidura is basically stating that all these other things that I am asking, the goal, the main interest that I have is to know about Lord Krishna. Then this canto has various topics. So we just listed some of them. I've listed most of them. The first topic is creation. Now, where have we heard about creation before? The second canto. So we discussed in detail about creation in the second canto. So the question is, why again? Why is creation discussed again? Why is creation such an important? Why? Why is Sukadev Goswami giving so much importance to this point of creation? Think. Yes, Amishro. Very nice. So one thing is to make a point that all creation ultimately comes from Krishna. Because honestly, how many of us remember anything in that second canto about creation? Little bit. Some of you may remember a little bit. Many of you may have come also would not even remember. खाली उतना भी अभी बोल के याद आया कि हाँ creation के बारे में कुछ था, एक टेस्ट था. But there were 2-3 chapters about creation. So to drive home the point that Krishna is behind creation. What else? Why else? Sorry? The greatness, very good. It all, because Krishna is behind creation and because creation is so vast and so intricate, it shows, it implies the greatness of Lord Krishna. Krishna is so great. And now we are going to hear his pastimes. The pastimes of someone who maybe gets his hand stuck in his hair, but that same personality, just with minor energy, creates this whole thing. So, very good. One is to know that Krishna is behind everything, the other is to know the greatness of Krishna. Anything else? For that, we don't need to go into creation. For that, we should go into pastimes. Why creation again and again? Yes, Mataji? In terms of creation and therefore in terms of Krishna. Very good. It, our position is established. What can we create? What can we create? Most of us won't even be able to draw the creation as described in Bhagavatam. Maybe Umesh Prabhu and Pranjal can draw, but most of us will not even be able to fathom it. Forget drawing skills, we won't even be able to fathom it. मुश्किल से कोई पैसे कमा के एक दो घर खरीदता है. That also, with hard work and all, you maybe buy a 600, 800,000 square foot home, or maybe a bungalow, or if your karma is good, then a little more. Not to speak of creation. So good. To understand our position. Anything else? The Lord is the source of creation. Anything else? Okay, good. So we can put it in such a way that this creation is the mercy of Krishna. Why is this creation a mercy of Krishna? Who is Krishna showing mercy to when he created all this? Conditioned souls. Why do conditioned souls need this material world? To enjoy. They're to try to enjoy, rather. To try to enjoy our desires. So Krishna could have said, boss, don't have any desire, मैं ही हूँ, सब कुछ खत्म. और नहीं करा तो जाओ स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड के एक कॉर्नर में जाके सड़ो उधर. जाओ सल्क करो. और जब हो जाएगा तो आ जाना. Okay, fine, I love you so much. If you have some desires, go try to fulfill. I'll create something for you. But he doesn't leave it at that. No, he regularly comes. So now here in this canto, we'll see twice Krishna comes in two different personalities. So he creates for us to try to enjoy, but then he also comes to tell us, chalo, come back, come back. There's no enjoyment here. Material world sucks. डाल सकते हैं t-shirt पे. Material world sucks. People wear all sorts. You can make a sticker. Today we brought, yeah, we're going to give you some sticker about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But next time we can make a sticker. Material world sucks. And you paste it everywhere. हम आपको 3-4 कॉपीज देंगे उसके. आप ऑफिस में लगा दो, गाड़ी में लगा दो, घर में लगा दो, सब जगह लगा दो. Material world sucks. Because it does. How many of you agree material world sucks? And we can take it to stages. Material world absolutely sucks. It royally sucks. Material sucks is the most basic thing. So the Lord doesn't leave us here to suffer. And one more reason why this creation is described is to show the cyclical nature of the world. Creation होएगा और फिर destruction होएगा. और फिर creation होगा और फिर destruction होगा. And it will go on and on and on. So it implies my 600 square foot home will also be destroyed. My body will also be, that will though be destroyed much before Brahma decides, but within a few years, my body will also be destroyed. So therefore, I should not really take these things so very seriously. My relationships will change, everything will change. So we don't take it seriously. Therefore, creation. Again, in this chapter, in the initial chapters of this canto, this creation is described. And then what is described? Secondary creation. Who does secondary creation? Brahma. So again, Brahma is described. How Brahma comes, how Brahma is seeing nothing is there, how he's meditating on the absolute truth, he hears, and then the whole creation starts, secondary creation. That secondary creation is described. But now, last time in the second canto, secondary creation was described only in terms of things. But now in the third canto, secondary creation is described in terms of people. So we are introduced to Manu in this canto, Swayambhu Manu. And then from Manu, how population expands. So that secondary creation of Brahma, how Brahma creates Lord Shiva, how Brahma creates Manu, how Brahma creates Shatarupa, and then how that goes on. So that is described in this canto. Secondary creation. Then the time factor is described, especially in the dialogue between Devahuti and Lord Kapila Dev. Time factor is described. What is time factor? Time means time. It means time. It means everything changes with time. And time is an energy of Krishna. Krishna says, I am time. Kalos me. I am time, the destroyer of the three worlds. I am time, the destroyer of the three worlds. So with time, everything changes. Everybody changes, every situation changes, every facility changes, every relationship changes. Time changes. That's it. Yeah, that is the nature of time. Things change. Things change. Some things change for the better, some things change for the worse. Nothing can remain permanent. Therefore, time is described in detail. One whole chapter is about time. Then in this canto, Kapila Dev tells his mother about embryology. There's our my Guru Maharaj, known as Gopal Krishna Maharaj, in the 80s, early 80s. This is when sonography and all was not so advanced. So the doctors didn't know what's happening inside the womb of the mother. तो अभी वो सोनोग्राफी करके बता देंगे 3 महीने में इतना होता है, 6 महीने में इतना होता है, ये नेल्स अभी डेवलप होंगे, हैंड्स अभी डेवलप होंगे, कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी डेवलप होगा, ये करके ऐसे ऐसे होता है. But before they discovered it, this is just 30-40 years this technology came. But before that, Maharaj in the West used to take this third canto and he used to go and preach to doctors in big, big universities. And he used to tell them, see this is mentioned in our scriptures 5,000 years ago. And that is the time where all this discovery was happening. So these doctors were amazed. They said, we are just discovering all this. And ये जैसा लिखा है, because here it's in detail mentioned. Second month with this develops, third month with this, fourth month with this, ऐसे करके पूरा दिया है. And they're like, अब हम लोग अभी discover कर रहे हैं और आपके शास्त्र में 5,000 साल पहले दिया है. Now when you take that as a basis, what does that tell us about the rest of what is mentioned in the shastra? That's also scientific. That's also scientific. If there's one chapter now you have proved to be true. It was already true. Now you came to know that it's true through your sonography. That means the other things also which this Canto is saying about creation, how creation takes place, about secondary creation, about Brahma, about everything coming from Krishna, that's also true. So embryology, Kapila Dev describes. In family life. Family life. Everyone is happy in their family life? 2 days back, it was my school friend's birthday. So I called him, in same class, from KG till 10th standard. I called him, I wished him, and how are you? So he's a uh, dentist. He's not yet married. I'm looking to get married. I want to get married. I was telling him, are you not happy with your life? No, I'm very happy. I like my profession. I really enjoy. He said, you're so lucky that you enjoy doing something that makes you money. Many people, their profession will make them a lot of money, but they'll hate it. Many people in finance, what is so interesting in finance? But here he's actually liking it. He's treating, I don't know why he likes it, but he likes it. He's treating people's teeth and he's liking it. I told him, and I told him, what do you do on the Sunday? I go, 2 hours I play football. I go, sometimes I go here, sometimes I go there, sometimes I'll sleep. All that will be over. You will not be able to do any of those things. You cannot just go and play football. You cannot just, sleep whenever you want to, and none of those things will be possible. You can't just take a bag and go anywhere. Family life. I was talking to one devotee yesterday. So he was saying that I was telling him that he's a brahmachari. So I told him that, earlier we used to joke, and that's a constant, common joke in ISKCON, that a grihastha can give the best brahmachari class. A best brahmachari class a grihastha can give. And I used to say, that time I also used to say, grihastha will. But now, after so many years of married life, I'm realizing that yes, I can actually give a very nice brahmachari class. I can really try and convince brahmacharis don't get married. I told him why, because he was saying, yeah, I understand. We are so just with one body, we are trying to struggle so much. And a householder has to have, he has to maintain multiple bodies, wife, kids. So I told him, not just maintaining bodies is not difficult. It's okay, you have to be really dumb if you can't maintain a wife and 2 3 kids. उतना तो हो जाएगा. You earn money, but to manage 3 4 minds, manage one mind is so difficult. One mind. Morning is very happy, night is miserable, or in 1 hour it is happy and miserable. In 1 minute it is thinking Krishna consciousness is everything. Next minute it's thinking, theek hai. And now you have to manage 3 4 minds. Family life. So family life is described by Kapila Dev to his mother Devoti about how you can survive family life. Survival of family life. Not physical survival. Survival that you come outside on the other side of family life closer to Krishna. Closer to Krishna. So family life can be a very big boon. It can be a very big boon both ways. If your family, you can, if you can only make people Krishna conscious to the extent you are Krishna conscious. If I have 10 rupees in my pocket, maximum I can give you 10 rupees. I can't give you 11 rupees if I have only 10. So we can engage our family and uh, guide our family or motivate our family together to the extent that we are Krishna conscious. So now you don't want your family not to be, at least your wife and kids, baki to extended family, theek hai. So it's an impetus, become stronger devotee so that they will follow. And the other way also, they just don't want to follow also. It shows you us the reality of the material world. It's not all rosy. So either way, if a devotee is seriously strong, if the devotee has understood these things about material life and within material life about family life, then family life can either way become a boon to come out on the other side more Krishna conscious, more attached to Krishna. Family life is. Then different types of yogas. Karma yoga is described, Gyan yoga is described, Sankhya yoga is described, and Kapila Dev specifically describes Bhakti yoga in detail. How many chapters in the third canto? 33. What's the name of the third canto? Status quo. And karma is described, good actions, bad action, what action should be done, should not be done. It is described through uh, stories and also through instructions. This dialogue between Maitreya and Vidura. Spiritual world is described. Spiritual world is described when Jain Vijay's pastime is described. The spiritual world is described. Glimpse of the spiritual world is given. Material world is described in detail. And hell is described. Now it just so happened that family life and hell are on the same line. That was a pure coincidence. When I made it, then I realized, "Arey, acha lag raha hai." Material world, hell. Hell is described. Hell is also described in detail. In which canto? Fifth canto. Last chapter of fifth canto. Detail of hell. We were in Mayapur in 2014. His Holiness Gaur Krishna Das Goswami Maharaj was giving Katha, Bhagavad Katha, and he was on the fifth canto, and he was describing the different types of hells. And we were thinking the first one only we thought, okay, the first one describes us, we are qualified. Second one also describes us. Third one also describes us. By the end, we realized every hell we are qualified to go to. Every hell we are qualified to go to. Only the mercy of the devotees which will save us. Otherwise, on our own. So all these things are described in the third canto. All these topics. How many? 5 plus 5, 10. These 10 topics are described through the interactions of these various personalities which are mentioned. So who are the personalities which are mentioned in the third canto? First one is, next one is Uddhava. Third one is Maitreya. Uddhava, Vidura, Uddhava, Maitreya, then Brahma. Because what is described? Secondary creation. So when secondary creation is described, who does secondary creation? Brahma. Then the four Kumaras are described. Now, which pastime do you think will come now when the four Kumaras are described? Jai Vijay. Jai Vijay getting first. Very good. So then who's the next personality? Jai, Jai, Jai Vijay. Then Kashyap Muni is described. Now, is Kashyap Muni anywhere linked with this pastime of Jai and Vijay? Is Kashyap Muni linked with the pastime of Jai and Vijay? Yes, how? Yeah, he's father of Vamandev also, but now who is described here? Diti. Now are they linked with Jai and Vijay? Uh, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu were born of mother Diti. Then Swayambhu Manu is described, the, the first son of Brahma. Swayambhu Manu is described, and Devahuti is described, and Kardamba Muni is described. Now, in this canto, the life of Kashyap and Diti and the life of Kardamba Muni and Devahuti, there is a contrast which is brought out. Because who are the children of Diti and Kashyap? Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Who was the child of Devahuti and Kardamba? Kapila Dev. Who is Kapila Dev? Lord Krishna. Who are Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu? Demons. Demons, right? So the way Mother Diti approaches Kashyap Muni uh, and the way Mother Devahuti approaches Kardamba Muni is very, very, very different. Now again, we can say this is done by the Lord's will, the Lord's pastime had to happen. But we can learn from that what is ideal family life, what is ideal Grihastha life, that is also described in the third canto. Of how even the so-called enjoyment that is allowed in Grihastha ashram, how that should be done. How that should be done through two examples are shown. See, you want a godly, you will not get God, but godly, follow this example. Devahuti and Kardama. And just the urges, just satisfy the urges. We are not even that pious that we will get Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. But we'll get, Lallu Panju, they are even worse. Duplicate Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, उनका कुछ फायदा नहीं है. Original वाले को तो भगवान आते हैं. And at least, you will get the feel, okay, and because of me, Lord will come. I'll also get darshan of Lord. Your duplicate, nobody will come. Krishna's energies will only take care. That is described. So, through these personalities, through their prayers, through their dialogues, through their instructions, and through their stories, all those 10 topics are described in the third canto. All those 10 topics are described through these personalities. Some of those are described through their prayers. Some of those are described through their activities. And some of those are described through their instructions. Like in the last case, Mother Devahuti. She's hearing the instructions from the Lord, and many of those things are described through that. So, very, very, Srimad Bhagavatam is like, every canto is like this. Every canto is like this. All various instructions are given in story forms. Sometimes now, if you read, only if you read, you will feel this. But those who read, you will feel that भागवतम में बहुत ज़्यादा prayers आ जाते हैं. Stories में जो prayers आ गए तो देखेंगे कितना है. 20 वर्ष है prayers ही prayers है. And if you have you come across that? If you read, you will come across. And then you may feel, if you read, that same ही prayer है, सब लोग वही pray करते हैं. Same prayer. But when you see those prayers, when you read, when you see those prayers, and you see them from the point of view of the personalities who are speaking, then every prayer is different. And every prayer is identifiable by us also. Because when Brahma is praying, he's praying from the perspective of the person who's in charge. When Vidur is praying, he's praying from a person who's come out of a trauma and now wants to fully immerse himself in the Lord's service. When Diti, after she makes a mistake, is praying, then someone who's made a mistake, understood we are human, being human, we are human, and human beings can make mistakes, but a genuine person should own up to their mistake and then seek for forgiveness and rectification. So that is Diti's prayers. Then we see the prayers of Manu. Now Manu is in charge of creation, he's the father of mankind, and now he is praying. And then we see the prayers of Devahuti. Devahuti has served her husband so nicely. Devahuti is the daughter of Manu. She is the daughter of the king, daughter of the person in charge. All facility available to her. But by her father's will, she gets married to a hermit, Kadamba Muni, a sage who's living in a kutia, and she's serving him. And he's just immersed in his spiritual activities. He's not even paying attention to her. He's just immersed in his spiritual, and she's taking care of him. And then she's praying to him. So that's a different prayer. And then Kardama Muni himself, when Kapila Dev comes, he's praying to Kapila Dev. Now he's praying from the perspective of, now I have done everything that is required in family life. Now I want to move on. So you please, bless me to do that. So if you see, all prayers are prayers, but they are all in different perspectives. And we can identify with all these perspectives. So therefore, prayers of Bhagavatam are also very interesting. Now, apart from these personalities, the Lord is described in two incarnations in this canto. The first is Lord Varahadev. Lord Varahadev comes. So the thrilling pastime of action of how Lord Varahadev and Hiranyaksha are fighting is described in this third canto. And through this pastime, the pastime of the Kumaras and Jain Vijay, of how the Kumaras, what attracted the Kumaras to go to Vaikuntha? Tulsi, coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. That attracted them. They are self realized. The Kumaras are self realized. Self realized means Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Na sochati na kankshati. No desire, no hankering, no lamentation, fully satisfied in their relationship with the Lord. And then they smell something, and that's attracting them. How is this possible? Nothing ever attracts us. We are always full satisfied in ourselves. What can this be? And then they go, and they are in the form of 5-year-old boys, self-realized, so no need of clothes. Like Sukadev Goswami, he comes out full adult, is walking naked. All these women are around. Nobody feels bodily conscious when Sukadev Goswami goes there. Nobody is covering themselves. Nobody is doing anything. Behind Sukhdev Goswami, Vyasdev, who's an elderly, grandfatherly figure, is going, and then everyone immediately becomes bodily conscious. So the Kumaras were like that. But Jain Vijay stopped them. And the Kumaras got angry. Kumaras got angry. And then if a Brahmana curses, then problem. Today Srivas Thakur's appearance day. Srivas Thakur, Panchatattva. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Swarupa Nityananda Rupa Bhaktavatara Advaitacharya Bhaktakhyam Srivas Thakur and Bhakta Shaktikam, that is Gadadhar Pandit. So Srivas Thakur, devotee. So once when Srivas Thakur, Mahaprabhu used to have kirtan at Srivas Thakur's house. How many of you have visited Mayapur and Srivas Angan? It's next to Yogpit. So Mahaprabhu used to be very selective of who to invite in the kirtan. If people are dozing off, he would not call them. If people would be looking at their phone, he would not call them. So, and that business used to be done by Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur used to say, no, you go. So, like that, one Brahmana came who used to only drink milk, nothing else, just little bit of milk. Itna tapasvi. So Srivas Thakur allowed him inside. ठीक है जाओ उधर कोने में ना वहां से देखना कीर्तन. And then Mahaprabhu is dancing and he thinks, Srivas, I'm not feeling ecstasy today. Have you allowed somebody who should not be here? No, no. Yeah, background check किया है सबका. Checked everything. No, there is someone who should not be here. There is someone who is not a proper devotee. Srivas said, हाँ वो एक ब्राह्मण है जो खाली दूध पीता है वो तपस्वी है. Do you think just by drinking milk and nothing else he can be devotee? That he can achieve Krishna consciousness? Get him out. So Srivas took him and threw him out of the house. After a few days, Mahaprabhu went to the Ganga, taking bath. This Brahmana was there. This Brahmana went to Mahaprabhu. He said, you threw me out that day. Okay, he scolded him and then he took his Brahman thread and then he cursed Mahaprabhu. I curse you. Who is he cursing? God. He curses him. You will never have happiness in material life. You will be miserable in your material life. I curse you. And when Mahaprabhu heard this, what did he do? Huh? Anyone knows? We don't read. We don't read. What do we know? Anyone knows? Nobody knows. I'll give you options. Now you choose which one could have happened. One is Mahaprabhu removed his Sudarshan. The second is Mahaprabhu said, sorry, you next time. Third is Mahaprabhu blamed it on Shivas. मैंने थोड़ी बोला उसने निकाला तुमको घर से. And the fourth is Mahaprabhu became blissful and said thank you. Why? He's cursing him. You will not be happy in your material life. Your material life will be, miserable. And why is Mahaprabhu feeling happy? Like good. It will ensure that I have no attraction. I mean, if you're miserable in a place, if you go somewhere on a vacation and it's horrible, will you like to go there again? No. You will not want to go there again. It will be horrible. So you will not do it. So Mahaprabhu is saying, thank you. And he's jumping up and down. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, after mentioning this, he writes, anyone who reads this pastime of Mahaprabhu and the Brahmana will never have to worry about a Brahmana's curse ever again. You don't worry about a Brahmana's curse after that. Now we have heard, what can a Brahmana curse you maximum? Material life will be miserable, no? We are okay with it. It's anyway miserable. We just forget about it every now and then that it's miserable. It is misery. It's misery. So the Kumaras, they cursed Jay and Vijay. And then Vishnu came. And Vishnu apologized on behalf of Jay and Vijay to the Kumaras. And then the Kumaras felt sorry and said, okay, नहीं कोई बात नहीं वो कर्स को जाने दो. Vishnu, no. इन्होंने गलती किया है को जाना ही चाहिए. And then the Acharyas mentioned that Lord was thinking, Vaikuntha mein nobody is fighting with me. Nobody is, it's all awe and reverence. I want to do some kushti. So who to do with? Who will I send these two? The Lord desired, and I want to have a good fight. And so, Jay and Vijay, one of them, I don't know who, but one of them became Hiranyaksha. Somebody had asked this question when we were doing our Bhagavatam reading during COVID time. When we were reading this third canto, somebody asked कि जब ये जय and विजय हिरण्याक्ष हिरण्यकशिपु बन के आए तो जय and विजय के पोस्ट पे कौन था? गेटकीपर कोई नहीं था. Biometrics that time. So this whole wonderful Leela is described, and then this pregnancy of Diti is described. That how in the wrong time she desired, and Kashyap Muni told her, no, I want, and then immediately they realized that all bad omens they saw. So we see now, the generation or people are going more and more atheistic. It's not their fault. It's their fault, of course. They are having those desires, but their parents who are also not devotees, when they want, when creation is happening in a mode of enjoyment, this is what happens. So this is also warned in Bhagavatam. But ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए. And then a warning is given, And then a positive example is given of Lord Kapila, of how when Devahuti and Kardamba Muni think of the same thing, but in a very Krishna conscious manner, the Supreme Lord thinks, yes, I will come. When Devahuti and Kardama Muni both are, Kardama Muni is fully into his spiritual practices and Devahuti is serving her husband nicely. The Lord says, yes, such people are deserving to be my parents. And so Kapila Dev comes. Swayambhuv Manu had 3 daughters and 2 sons. You know the names of Manu's daughters? Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. Devahuti, then Akuti and Prasuti. Akuti, Prasuti are described in the 4th canto. And he had 2 sons, Uttanapad and Priyavrata. They are also described in the 4th canto. Whose story comes when we are describing Maharaj Uttanapad? Dhruv Maharaj. Very nice. So that is all in the 4th canto. So these are the 5 illustrious children of Swayambhuv Manu. Akuti, Prasuti, Devahuti, Priyavrata, and Uttanapad. So out of that, Devahuti's story is in the 3rd canto. The other 4 stories in the 4th canto. So Swayambhu Manu, one of the daughters Devahuti, when she is marriageable age, and she has all the good qualities. She is supremely beautiful. She is supremely chaste. She is very very devotional, and so he's looking for a suitable husband. And then the Lord inspires him that you go over there. My very dear devotee is there, Kardamba Muni. He is doing wonderful services to me. And you go and you glorify him and you offer your daughter to him. Because now he needs to enter Grihastha ashram, you offer your daughter to him. So Manu goes, he does that, and Devahuti, the daughter of the king, having all opulence, does not question anything, is ready to stay in the hermitage and serve Kardama Muni. And she does that for years and years and years together till her entire beauty is worn out. Her entire beauty is gone. She also has a jata, matted locks, everything. And then when Kardama Muni looks at her like that, he develops compassion for her. Prabhupada says, no, the way in earlier times, Indian women were very, very intelligent. Prabhupada says, if you hear his lectures, you will come across this. Indian women were very, very intelligent. They would get everything they wanted without having a fight. Because they would just talk sweet words to their husband and please their husband and then eventually win over the husband's heart, and then they could get everything that they wanted through this. But when you fight, when we fight, then we are just trying to get above the other person, hurt the other person's ego to prove our point, and the result is divorces and a pathetic family life, and that goes on. But I remember many years back, I had heard one class of Radhanath Maharaj, and he said that marriage is all about compromise and tolerance. Compromise, tolerance. Compromise, tolerance. Compromise something, tolerate something. It should be a given. I have to tolerate a lot. Tolerate. I don't like this. I have to tolerate. I can't change it. We have gotten married in front of the fire when the brahmanas were chanting. You can't change that now. But so then I don't like it. What option do I have? Tolerate. But if the other person also thinks in the same way, then it will happen. So when Kardamba Muni sees this in Devahuti, he becomes very, very compassionate. And then what does he do? He creates a palace on an airplane palace. And for 100 years, Devahuti is enjoying heavenly pleasures there with Kardama Muni. Finally, then they have 9 daughters. And after that, Kardama Muni tells her, my family life is now complete. I have fulfilled my responsibilities. Now, I have given you sufficient pleasure also. I have given you sufficient comfort also. At the same time, I have engaged you in the Lord's service and I have given you children. Now I want to leave. Then Devahuti again offers him prayers, and that prayer she requests him that you please give me one son. Because you give me one son, then I have somebody that can take care of me later on, because his daughters will all be married, and that is also described in this canto. of how the 9 daughters are married to the 9 sages. So then Kardama Muni complies, and the Supreme Lord. See, when we live, now when I'm saying this, it is purely theory. I am not at all realized about this. But when we live a very God conscious life, then Krishna also arranges things in our life to help us progress more. When we lead a very God centric life, when we lead a life based on how we are supposed to behave, how we are supposed to take care of our material life also in a Krishna conscious manner, Krishna arranges things. So then Lord thought, okay, I will only come. You want to get renounced, you go renounce, I will take care of Devavati. And Kapila Muni comes. And then the whole dialogue is there of Kapila Muni and Mother Devavati, where Kapila Muni instructs her from chapter 25 to the last chapter of this canto, which is chapter number 33. Those chapters, the glories of devotional service, fundamental principles of material nature, understanding material nature, instructions on the execution of devotional service. These are all the chapter names. After 1 year, when we come here, we will ask, chapter ka naam kya hai? Explanation of devotional service. This is most of what he's speaking is about bhakti. Brahma's dialogue and all is all about Gyan and Sankhya and all. Kapila Muni is bhakti. Description of adverse fruitive activities. Adverse fruitive activities. Instructions on the movements of the living entities. Entanglement in fruitive activities. The forest of material nature. The forest fire of material nature. Something that we can all, that those chapters may we are fully thinking it is fully practical, because that's how life is. And then the activities of Lord Kapila, the last chapter. This is the third canto. So like this, the third canto in a summary we described. And I request all of you, please read the third canto regularly. And like this, we will discuss chapter by chapter. And the whole purpose is that through Srimad Bhagavatam, we come closer to Krishna and we get inspired in our spiritual life. We get the reality of the material world. We get inspiration to tolerate the material world. We get inspiration to ignore the material world. We get inspired to associate with devotees. And ultimately, we get inspired to hear more about the Lord. This is the alternate reality. The Srimad Bhagavatam is showing us the alternate reality of life. The thing that we think is reality is not actually reality. That's just Dukhalaya and Ashashvatam. It's not real. Right? It is real, but it's not where happiness will come. It's temporary. And here is the alternate. This is the alternative. This is what we are supposed to be following in our life through the stories of these great personalities, through their prayers, through their instructions, through their dialogue. We know that if I if I follow this, I can also be happy like them. I can also be God conscious like them. There are two very famous verses in the third canto. There are several. Srila Prabhupada in his lectures has quoted over 40, 50 verses from the third canto various times in his lectures. There are two verses which are very nice. One talks about the association of devotees, and the other talks about the holy name. So we'll recite those two verses, and with that we'll conclude today's session. So this is from the 25th chapter. Again, the conversation between Devahuti and Lord Kapila Dev. And repeat after me. Satan prasangad mama veera samvido. Satam prasangad mama veerya samvido. Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha. Bhavanti hritkarna rasayana katha. Tajoshanada swapavargavatmani. Tajoshanada swapavargavatmani. Shraddharatir bhakti anukramishyati. Shraddha Ratir Bhakti Anukramishyati Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Ritkarna Rasayana Katha Tajoshanada Swapavarga Vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhakti Anukramishyati Satam Prasangan, in the association of pure devotees. The association of pure devotees. Discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. Right now, for last 1 hour, we heard an overview of the third canto. Almost all of you were very attentively hearing. And we got to hear the entire. It's so interesting. It is so nice. It's pleasing to the ears, pleasing to the heart, the activities of the Lord, or the instruction of the Lord. But when does this take place? In the association of devotees. In the association. Therefore, the association of devotees is so important. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation. And thereafter, he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then, real devotion and devotional service begin. In the association of devotees, when we hear the pastimes and the topics of the Lord, what happens? Shraddha, Ratir, and Bhakti. Shraddha means faith. Our faith increases. Rati means taste. Our taste increases. Our attraction for chanting increases. Our attraction for hearing Bhagavatam increases. Our attraction for performing seva increases. And thereby, bhakti, our devotion increases. So when Mahaprabhu asked Srila Ramananda Rai that what is the most unfortunate thing in the life of a human being? What is the most unfortunate thing in the life of a human being? Ramananda Rai replied, going away from the association of devotees is the most unfortunate thing that can happen to anybody. Going away from association of devotees. Whatever else happens in our material life, it's not as bad as when we are deprived or when we go away from association of devotees. Because in the association of devotees, these things can happen. Bhavanti Ritkarna Rasayana Katha. Heart and Ritkarna. Heart and Karna, the ears. Rasayana Katha. That sounds only so full of taste. Reminds you of Rasna. Rasayan Katha. The nectarian Katha, the nectarian description of the Lord's pastimes. And that leads to Shraddha, Shraddha, Ratir, and Bhakti. Shraddha, Ratir, Bhakti, Anukramishyati. These things will evolve. So you can try and memorize this verse. It's a wonderful verse. It can remind us again and again of being in association of devotees and the benefits of being in association of devotees. Prabhupada writes, association with devotees means association with the Lord. The devotee who makes this association develops the consciousness of a rendering service to the Lord, and then, being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. This is the way to be perfect in life and perfectly satisfied in life. Be in the association of devotees and perform devotional service. There's two things. It's actually just one thing. Be in association of devotees. Everything else will happen. Just you go to a restaurant and you order. Just go to a restaurant. You will eat. You will eat. That will happen. Just enter family life. You will be frustrated. It will happen. It will happen. Just be in association of devotees and you will be engaged in devotional service. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, he was just walking down the road in San Francisco, and our Jayanand Prabhu, he was under the Rath Yatra cart fixing something, and Jayapataka Maharaj, before he became a devotee, he's there and he's seeing, "Ye kaun hai andar?" And so this person is trying to reach out. Bahar tools rakhe hain. So Jayapataka Maharaj said, "Can I help you?" "Yeah, please help me." And okay, give me this, and give me this, and give me this. Okay, you're so wonderful at handing tools. Can you spend little more time? Yeah, okay, I'll do. Okay, you help me with this. Okay, now you do this. Now you do that. Like that, he engaged him for a few hours, and then he told him, "You helped me so much. Why don't you come inside and have a meal with us?" Okay, take prasad. Okay, now we're going to sing together. Why don't you come and sing with us? I'll sing with you. Bas, that's it over. Within few days, he became Jayapataka Swami. John Gordon. His name is John Gordon, legal name. John Gordon became Jayapataka Das and then Jayapataka Swami. How? On the road, he's seeing one devotee, Jayanand, not ordinary devotee, wonderful devotee, fixing the Rath, and he helps him with tools first. And so, if you are in association of devotees, it is guaranteed that we will be engaged in service. If we are not yet engaged in service, there's some problem. We either with us or with whoever we are associating with. But guaranteed we will get engaged in service. And another important verse is about the holy name, which is on the last chapter of the third canto. We can recite Yannamadeya Shravananukirtanan Yat Pravanad Yat Smaranad Apikvachit Swadopi Sadya Savanaya Kalpate Kuta Punaste Bhagavan Darshanat. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face. Even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. I'm saying, what to speak of Brahmanas, what to speak of people who have associated with the Lord. Even a person who's a Chandal, dog eater, who's born in such a low family that they eat dogs. एटलीस्ट हम लोग वो वेंकीज का चिकन खाते थे होपफुली हम कुछ डिग्निफाइड एनिमल किलिंग खाते हैं वी डोंट गो एंड बारबेरिकली स्लॉटर एनिमल्स एंड ऑल एंड वो उसमें भी हमारा स्टैंडर्ड है हम चिकन खाते हैं या फिश खाते हैं कुत्ते नहीं खाते हैं तो कोई कुत्ता भी खाता है that person also if one just hears the name of the Lord once or hears about the past of the Lord or offers him obeisance or remembers him, that person is eligible to perform great Vedic sacrifice. That means that person is immediately a Brahmana. Even once. That means this is the power of the holy name. Right? So, Lord Kapila Dev concludes his instructions and then Mother Devahuti offers this prayer. This is Devahuti speaking. Mother Devahuti offers this prayer to glorify her son, who is the Supreme Lord, and says that just one, you have explained devotional service from chapter 25 till now. Just one someone, the conclusion that I have derived from all these teachings that you have given me is that someone just once utters your name or remembers you or offers obeisances, that person is the greatest Brahmana. What to speak of those who regularly do it. So therefore, we should regularly chant nicely, chant our 16 rounds with attention, take our chanting very seriously, invest some time in improving our spiritual life, remove some time to read nicely. Firstly, read, then read nicely. Start to read. I was talking to one of the Matajis who we conduct one session for her midweek. So she was saying, I want to get this started, this chanting. So I gave her an idea. I said, you just take a number of verses, 2, and I will read 2 verses of Bhagavatam every day. Without fail, 2 verses of Bhagavatam every day. 2 verses is very doable. But every day. Now, even if it is at 10:30 at night and I remember, I will read before I sleep. But I will read. The benefits are all these. But I will do it. So then we start to read. So at least everyone here should be reading Prabhupada's books every day. There should be no excuse for that. There should be no excuse. I should not eat the next day if I not read. नहीं पढ़ पाए जो भी भूल गए, next day don't eat breakfast till you at least read 1 or 2 verses with purpose, and then we chant nicely, because this is the foundation of our spiritual life. Okay? Prabhupada writes, there are many Vedic statements in different places saying that anyone who chants the holy name of the Lord becomes immediately freed from conditional life, and that anyone who hears the holy name of the Lord, even though born in a family of dog eaters, also becomes liberated from the clutches of material entanglement. Hare Krishna. Anyone have any question? Anything that we discussed today, you have any question? When will we complete third canto? As I said, how many verses are there in third canto? How many chapters? How many were there in the second canto? 10. How many in the first canto? 19. 19 plus 10 is 29. 29 chapters, 2 cantos took us 5 years. And this is 33 chapters. So be around. Many of you, all of us will look very different when the third canto ends. Yes, Mataji. Hmm. They don't end only. Yeah. So we develop interest by reading more. That is how we develop interest. But what in just so there were two things what you mentioned. One was that we feel bored, and the other was we lose track also of what's going on, because this just goes on and on. So to lose track of what's going on, we can sort of we can keep referring back. Like for example, these guide books are also there. Guide books are not just for academic life. We have this Bhagavad Subodhini by Gaurang Darshan Prabhu. So whichever canto you're reading, you can just keep that open, and so that will give you an overview, and then you know where you are in the Bhagavatam. But the other thing is also, when we are reading this, is to try and think of this again and again, that these are specific prayers offered by specific personalities in specific situations, and so go and refer back to this is the situation and this is the person, and then try and see, uh, is this how is this relevant to me, and we'll always find some relevance to us, always. So if we read it with that mood, like a little bit of a more conscious attentive reading, it will not be very boring. But what happens is, for that we have to work, and that we don't do, we become lazy for that. I also. So that the problem is that the problem is not with the prayer, the problem is with me getting lazy to, you know, make this connection and then read this prayer. So if I make the connection and then I read and then I read and see how is this anywhere relevant to me? Maybe there may be an answer, sometime absolutely no, but in most cases somewhere we will be able to make a connection, and then it becomes alive, then it becomes personal, and then interest automatically comes. And then I'm telling you, when you complete and you read this again after a few years, devotional life is moving forward, you will find it much more interesting than you did when you read it the first time. So that shows that the more we become devotionally inclined, the more this is interesting to us. So right now it is not, because of also our issue. So that, like, I read Chaitanya Charitamrita and now I'm again reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it's much more relatable, much more interesting. Especially Adi Leela, I was just waiting Adi Leela kab khatam hoga, because till the 13th chapter it's just philosophy. But this time when I read those same 13 chapters, it was so interesting. I never knew this, and learning philosophical concepts through that Adi Leela. So the more, and of course, still nowhere. We read that with in the association of advanced devotees, they bring out more and more nectar from it. So just to make it like a practical thing, if we can see what is the context, if we can see who is speaking, and then if we can try and make a relation in our life, then these prayers become interesting. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? Yes, Vikas Prabhu. So it is not that the purification is not reflected in your life. The purification is very much happening. There was this cartoon, the caricature, which I saw, which was there are these people, there is gold on this side, and this person is mining, and he's gone from here till here. He's just this much away to the gold. When he decides, इतना किया है कुछ नहीं आएगा, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. But a person who is looking at it from the other side, from the above, sees that he's done so much. The fruit is not coming, but he's achieved a lot. So the example that Guru is giving his chela the broken pot and telling him Ganga pani leke aao, and the chela is thinking it's a waste of time and goes once, second, third, fourth time. But fourth time he says, at least look at it, and he looks and it's clean. But through the process, that fellow thought, क्या फायदा वहां तक आऊंगा जब तक कुटिया में सब पानी निकल जाएगा. So we may. That's why it's very important to be a little introspective about our life. Sometimes we just go with the flow, but sometimes it's good to every now and then be introspective and see where I was and where I am, and then we will see that yes, I am better off. And if there is this feeling that I am still not there, that's a very good feeling, because that will ensure that I'll become more serious. But we should not just leave with that feeling. मेरा मेरा purification नहीं हो रहा है, मेरे को अभी भी वो गंदे desires आ रहे हैं, अभी भी material desires इतने हैं, अभी भी मैं distracted हूँ, अभी भी I find pleasure and taste in material things. So where am I headed? But that is a good thing to know about myself, that I'm not a great devotee. But then it should not just stop with that feeling. Okay, then let me double down on my spiritual practice. Let me do these things more nicely now. Let me do it more enthusiastically, or let me do it more seriously. And then it goes on. So this feeling of I'm not feeling I'm purified is a good feeling. It's not completely true, because there is purification happening, but it's good to be critical of ourselves. But then not just be critical and sulk or doubt the process, but be critical and then do something more about it. And then we see the example of other devotees and we take confidence from them. See how nice this person is, see how Krishna conscious this person is. Or we see the example of acharyas, and they are also following the same process I am. So it gives me confidence to continue following. So there is purification happening, but we should not be satisfied with it, and we should keep going on more strongly with our spiritual life, taking inspiration from the example of the devotees. Okay? Hare Krishna. All right. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की, समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. So those who have registered and signed up for our Badrinath Yatra,